Hello everyone, and I'm super excited to showcase a batch processing of my new data analytics platform, which I just built by myself by using all the open source tools and the technologies which are available to us. And I just capture the MinIO, which is equivalent to the S3. We have Apache Iceberg where we want to have a ACID transaction in a lakehouse architecture, and we are using a HiveMetastore. If you combine Apache Iceberg to just store the data into the Parquet format and use the HiveMetastore, you can just get the same feature what LakeHouse supposed to have. We have Apache Kafka, we have a Airbyte, Apache Spark, just for the processing on our distributed machines. We have Apache Flink, which is going to help us to just, do the aggregation and whatever the manipulation we want to do in a real time. The data which is coming from the Kafka. We have Apache Airflow, Apache DruID again, which is going to help us to create a segments of the data what Flink is going to aggregate and put it in a Kafka. DruID can consume that data and make it available for the superset. Right. So these all tools I have already integrated, and I have created a compose where I'm just, trying to set up this, which is way complicated, but it is really worth, to just get yourself into this complicated area where we have a MinIO, then we have a Postgres, HiveMetastore, because HiveMetastore use, to just save all the data into the Postgres, and then we have a Zookeeper with the Kafka. We are initializing a Kafka with required topics. We have a Spark Master and Spark Worker. We have a Flink Job Manager and Job Task, and then we have a SQL Gate, which is going to be used to just, send a streaming pipeline. We have a DruID coordinator, broker, historical, we have middle manager, and then we have a router, and then we have a superset through which we can visualize the data. We have a Jupyter to just write the notebooks, Redis, and then we have a application layer where I'm using a Django, and then we have a Celery worker and the Celery weed just to have all the background process automatically getting triggered, and then we have a Flower to just manage Celery related task executions, right? So this is a very complicated setup, but it's really worth if you just wanted to save some money for yourself, because Databricks, Fabric, these tools are very costly. Utilize a cloud, and cloud is always having that non-transparency when it comes to how you are spending that money. Initially you thought you know how you are going to spend it, but things are very not that much you know transparency. And what I realized is I just published that onto the Medium as well. Why I thought that I should build something from the open source, because in a just single day I just spent $140 on Databricks, because I just schedule multiple pipelines, which is just getting triggered as and when there is a file, and my some synthetic mock server is sending those files very frequently, right? And then I thought probably I can just build my own data analytics best platform, and that is where I just build this, and this is the landing page where you can see you can just log into the system, right? So the major thing which I am going to cover in this two workflow, which is related to the batch processing. The first one is the data ingestion and the processing. Second one is how to just get that data. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna just see all these two flow. The first flow is data ingestion and a processing, and for that, first just get logged into the system. Okay, so I'm just gonna log into the system. Okay, so it is going to take us to the dashboard. This is the dashboard, okay, where we don't see any data sets. So the very first thing which we have to do, we have to upload the data and we have to browse it. I have these simple file, which is a CSV, and I can simply select CSV, name the data set name. I'm just leaving blank for now, and upload it, right? And I just come back. So what's going to happen behind the scene is Django web application get this CSV, and it is going to be stored on a MinIO, which is a S3 bucket like storage. I can quickly show you that. These are the three buckets which we have in our raw data. We can simply say the same file actually just got saved, right? So this same CSV file which we have uploaded, and this is the flow, right? MinStorage get this data, saved to Hive. Then we have a Spark processor. What it's gonna do, it is actually going to use this Apache Iceberg and the HiveMetastore to convert this data and just put it into the LakeHouse format by just converting that into the Parquet format, and just put all the metadata into the Postgres with the help of a HiveMetastore, which I just mentioned. And if you want, you can just read through all these documents which I have just put together. That would give you the more insight about the exact logic and how I have designed all these things, right? So in dataset, we can quickly see we got this file. We can upload few more because we're gonna just create a batch pipeline, which is going to help us to have a multiple sources. I can simply say that customers, and I can just process it. I can quickly add more files, so I can upload products as well. You can simply say CSV and you can say product. So we are just uploading the data, and that's what we do usually in Databricks and Fabric. If you have used, this is what we generally do. Okay, so now we have another file which is huge, which is having huge data, and I can simply say sales transaction and I can upload it, and I can quickly see whether these files are there or not. And we can just simply come here and we can simply see in Google in MinIO as well. So now we can see all those profiles over here, and in warehouse, we can simply say the corresponding, folders getting created. And if you just get inside, you see the data and the metadata. In data, you can see the Parquet format. And in metadata, you can see all the information related to that Parquet file, because these HiveStore and the Iceberg is going to give you the asset-based time travel, schema references, and all those kind of stuff, all those kind of feature available for you on your CSV file, which you have just uploaded. Right? So the first process is done. You upload the file. It gets stored on the MinIO. Then Spark processor come into the picture, utilize, the Iceberg, and just create the Parquet format and just put it all the metadata related information into the Postgres. Okay. Then the next thing is getting a data preview, right? So for getting a data preview, we can simply view if we want. We have 1,000 records, so I think we can just pick the simple one. Let's just go for this one, right? And we can simply put a refresh and we can see the data. Okay, so now we can see the data, right? This is what, we can see. And we have a query editor as well, where we can fire the query and we can see the data. So whenever we fire the query, what happens behind the scene is, whenever we request a data, it goes to the Celery worker, which actually just look for the Spark session where it's trying to see which table needs to be access, and then it just goes to the HiveMetastore or the Postgres site to see where the information lies for the query which I just got from the user, and then it just goes to the MinIO and just fetch the data and just showcase back to us on our machine, right? So this is the high level flow. The next thing which we can do, which generally we always do, if you are coming from the data analytics world, we have to create the pipeline because we don't want to do this manually again and again, right? So we can create a new pipeline and we can schedule that. Right? So what we can do, we can simply say high value sales, we can say batch processing, and here we can type some information. Okay, there we have a feature, we can simply copy this. Okay, what we want is whatever the CSV file we have uploaded, I can quickly show you that. Okay, test setup, here we have this file, right? So I can just bring it here. And we can see what all fields we have. We have transaction ID, date, customer, product, region, quantity, blah, blah, blah. And all these things will be available to us because we have used this Apache Iceberg and HiveMetastore. I can select this file. What I want is I want to create a new output data set. Okay, here I can add the transformation, and we know we have to put the transformation. First, we want to filter a row. So basically what condition we want, right? We want a condition something like amount should be greater than 500 and the status should be completed. So now based on whatever the CSV we are having, since we have converted that into the Parquet format with the HiveMetastore, we can write the same kind of transformation what we used to do in our relational database. And we can select specific columns as well rather than getting all the columns. Whatever the column we feel would be the right for this particular pipe. Here we can review this where we are, what transformation we have written. And then we can save and run, and now we can see this pipeline is running. So at the end, what we're going to see here, we can see simply 0. Now we can see 81 records. Earlier, we were having 100 records in this file, right? And now we just got 81. Why we got 81? Because based on the condition. And we can see here, in a status, all of them are not completed. Some of them are pending as well. And some of them, the amount is, if it is less than $500, then it's not going to be considered. And that you can keep changing and you can just run that. So now this data is available. We can simply see the view data set as well. See, again, we can see this. So this is what we can do with the current state. Real-time streaming feature is still in work in progress. That I'm gonna explain you in the next demo. But for now, I can simply upload the CSV, convert into the Parquet format, create a Metastore through which we can achieve all the acid on feature on our data, and we can create a pipeline and we can just put any transformation whatsoever we want, right? And we have a query editor as well where we can directly access any data. We have a notification as well where we can just keep a track what all kind of action we have taken so far, right? And then we have other feature as well, and I'll keep updating this. Here we can see how many pipelines we have, how many data sets we have. These things are still in progress, and it will keep enhancing over the period of time. But the good part is it's a very interesting and a challenging world. I know using these tools are not very easy because you need a very good team to understand all these tools, but it is really worth to understand if you really want to get into the technology, because it's a very interesting and challenging world to understand such a huge number of open source tools which are available for us. It's just that we need to use it in a way so that we can create a solution for ourselves and we don't have to rely on the vendors who are just going to cost us a lot. Right, so that's pretty much it from my side, and I have a lot of the Medium article where you can get all the data analytics related information, like what is Medallion architecture, what kind of data modeling schemes we have, and whatever the issues I have come across so far. I always try to put it in an article so that if you are going to face the same issues, how you can fix that if you are going to use a open source tools, right? So that's pretty much it from my side for this particular video. If you have any feedback or suggestion, please feel free to put that into the comment section, and you can also reach out to me directly on my email. So that's it from my side for this particular video. And as always, stay healthy and keep learning new things.